Hello, happy Wednesday. Welcome to Current Condition. I am Bethany Rue. I am joined by Bethany Hallam. So today's episode is between two Bethanies, which I've always wanted to call this. Welcome. How are you doing over there, Bethany?
I am living the dream, Bethany. How are you doing over there?
I can't remember the last time I washed my hair. Other than that, I'm great. I was literally thinking of that this morning when I was pulling back my bun because it stays up by itself. It's great.
Oh, that's nice.
Yeah.
Hair ties.
Yeah. Hi, life hack. But no, I'm doing good. So for just top of the show stuff, the new issue of Pittsburgh Current came out yesterday. So it's digital because we don't want you getting the COVID on our papers, picking them up. So go online and read it. If you haven't signed up yet. Sorry?
Who's on the front cover of this?
It's so funny you mentioned that, Bethany. It's a local musician. You might have heard of him. His name is Brett Michaels.
Oh, the lead singer of Poison, is it?
Yes. The musical genius behind Open Up and Say is on our cover. Charlie interviewed him, and he is actually a really, really nice guy. But boy, did people have feelings about that cover. So, hell of a nice guy. But people were like, he's not from Western Pennsylvania. We don't want to claim him. But those are the same people that'll be at Ribfest rocking the F out with him. So please, when we're allowed to have Ribfest again. But people had a lot of feelings about that and about the flyover yesterday because Jake, our producer, our behind the scenes guy, went and took shots of it, and people, and I understand it, it could be controversial, that could be money spent elsewhere.
Money. I mean, the jet fuel alone is money, paying to do the flyover. And then I saw somebody post like, oh, were they dropping PPE from the planes? Because then, right? But if not, that's like the aerial comparison to Donald Trump, like launching paper towels at Puerto Rican hurricane victims. Yeah, let's just airdrop some N95 masks on the nurses in Oakland. That's a great idea. Yeah.
So anyway, so the cover or the paper's out. Some controversial stuff happening. We like to mix it up and bring you controversial rock icons from the '90s. That's how we do. But there's a lot of other great articles in there. Some stuff on and then some marijuana issues and things like that. So make sure you are checking out the new issue. Make sure you're signing up for it. And then real quickly too, a shout out to our brothers and sisters at the Post-Gazette. I'm sure you guys saw the news, right? There's just more shenanigans over there. They're trying to do these buyouts. I hate to see anybody lose a job during this outbreak. I especially hate to see journalists lose jobs. So, our hearts are with you guys. Best of luck over there. It's tough for everybody in media in Pittsburgh. I mean,
if you need a job, call the Current.
Yeah, don't call me. Chase, really, please hire somebody.
Yeah, but really, I mean, it is tough right now. A lot of folks are struggling, not having a job, and then people such as the folks at the Post-Gazette, like you said, who are really a great outlet for journalism. And I know there are a lot of great people there, and I'm really just I feel for them. I mean, they've been fighting for a lot of things for a long time now.
Yeah, they've been fighting. Like they have to be like so exhausted at this point, and they keep on, like they keep bringing great news and great journalism, and they're so professional. And they've been put through the ringer, and they are literally like the shining example of what journalism should be. So I really hope that something in the world happens to turn it around for them, because I couldn't think of a group of people that would deserve it more.
I agree.
So, and just speaking of media, obviously we're sort of a week-to-week scenario right now with the Current, because our ad revenues kind of dried up because nothing's open. Hoping as things open up, it'll get better. But if you want to support local journalism, you can go onto our website. Every couple bucks helps. It's helping us pay, because we are paying writers, and we are trying to help everybody get it out as much as we can. So support local journalism, support the Pittsburgh Current, support Bethany. Bethany. And Jake, support Jake. His little head icon's below me. You can't see that though. They're like, why is she pointing at her island? I don't know. So the last time we talked, we were still in a total red zone.
Right.
We're now in the yellow. Mm-hmm. How's that going for you? How's your life changed?
It hasn't changed. But really, I mean, I think that is something that I've been trying to stress throughout all this, is we had all these folks who were really loudly advocating for us to transition to yellow. But if you look at the outlines for what yellow phase means, not much should change. Now, that's not to say that not much has changed, because I've been seeing, neighbors having parties at their house, like large groups of folks playing in the street, because And that's why I'm so concerned, is because all I keep thinking about is how all the experts have said, if you loosen restrictions too quickly, you're going to see another spike. And I need this to be over. You know, like, I miss my friends. I mean, I haven't seen you in person for how long? I miss
way too long.
I miss going out to eat. You know, I miss even like having my county council meetings in person. I miss that kind of stuff. I miss just like giving people hugs. I mean, there's a lot of stuff, you know, that I miss. And there's a lot of, you know, I'm really fortunate. I have a house to stay in, you know, I don't have a job, but I mean, I have like people to talk to. And so I'm a lot more fortunate than other folks. So really, I'm just concerned about the fact that so many people seem to take the yellow phase as it's a free for all. It will ready to go, when in reality, that doesn't come until the green phase. And who knows when we'll be there. I mean, with more cases every single day, I mean, I just don't think we can even be talking about the green phase yet. But like you mentioned, journalists are hurting, all businesses are hurting, people are hurting. I mean, there's some folks who in yellow phase were called back to work, but their daycare isn't open yet.
Yeah.
So then they lose their unemployment because they can't go back to work. They have to deny work to stay home with their kids. I mean, there's just there's people, like we talked about, who still haven't received their unemployment benefits yet. I mean, it really is difficult, but I think more than anything else, people see a yellow phase as one step closer to green, and that's why people are so excited, even though the reality of it is in-person retail is really what changed. You know, you're allowed to go. Real estate, I saw, just got allowed by the governor. So.
Oh yeah, all my realtor friends were on Facebook within 3 seconds. Like, I've got a listing. By the way, I do want to thank, we do have a sponsor today. I do want to thank our good friend Sarah Summer Oliphant. She's running in the 39th Legislative District, and her campaign is sponsoring today's episode of Between Two Bethanies. So Sarah, thank you so much for that. I know campaigning is also been really impacted during this COVID and the outbreak and the lockdown. So happy to give you a platform here, Sarah Summer Oliphant, 39th Legislative District. Speaking of people that hit the gas when they saw yellow, I noticed Ben Roethlisberger got a haircut, and it caused a small kerfuffle. Of course, only in Pittsburgh, but like Ben Roethlisberger's hair be news again. Remember when we did like the poodle do after the whole Georgia thing? Like, this man and his hair are troublesome.
No, I don't remember the poodle do. What's that?
You don't remember the poodle do? Oh, you're like too young.
No.
I'm Bethany the elder. Yeah, he, like, this was like back in like the early stage of my PR career, and even I remember thinking like, his PR person needs like beat. He came out, this is when he was fighting the rape allegations, and it literally looked like he had a poodle on his head. And he was talking to the media and trying to be contrite and serious, and all I could think of was, that man has a dog on his head. So, him and his hair once again in the news.
His hair, he needed a haircut. I will give him that. But like, do what we're all doing and cut your partner's hair at home, or you know,
or just rock a man bun, Benny boy. Come on, get with it.
We're all figuring out ways to figure it out without going out to our barbershop. But I will say, you know, I read the statement from his barber. Did you read the statement that was put out? And it was
no, I didn't. I just want to talk about him blindly.
Yeah. I mean, as a PR person, you should be really impressed with that statement that was put out from his barber, because he was like, listen, there was no money exchange. You know, we wore proper PPE, and we were just safe about it, you know? So regardless, I think, of how you feel about the haircut happening, I mean, come on, we have much more pressing issues to worry about right now than Ben Roethlisberger getting his haircut, right? It'd be different if Ben Roethlisberger got his haircut that was coming and like wiping his germs all over your house. That'd be a little different, you know? But I thought that the way that the barber responded to some of the criticism was handled very well. And so I think give him a shout out for that.
Yeah, good for one. Hopefully that's not the same barber that I was just disparaging. Hopefully that was not the man responsible.
Oh, who did the poodle? I don't know.
I would feel terrible. Sorry if that was you, sir.
Barber for a long time, so it might be the same one. I don't know.
Hey, I've got a great segue for you. I wonder if Ben Roethlisberger has done his mail-in ballot yet.
He hasn't been on any of my phone banking or text banking lists to make sure.
So let's talk about voting, because this is coming up. I know we talk about it all the time, but that's because it's really freaking important. There's already a huge backlog, and like we still have a week. How long do we have to still to request mail-in?
Well, we have less than 1 week now. We have 6 days, because you have until 1 week prior to the election day to actually request your mail-in ballot. We have 13 days till the election. I had a Board of Elections meeting yesterday, and they just kind of outlined some numbers. In Allegheny County, we have had 225,000 applications for vote by mail that were received by the county. 189,000 of those have been processed, and 148,000 ballots have been mailed out already. Only 42,000 have been returned. So if you are sitting at home with your mail-in ballot on your table, please fill that out and get it in, because we know how people are, especially us millennials, where we wait till the last minute. So I foresee a lot of folks who are waiting until the last minute to request their mail-in ballot. And so get yours in now to make sure it is counted first.
And it's not just millennials. I'm a Gen Xer, and I have every intention of mailing my ballot in, and I haven't requested mine yet. So
I told you last night to do it.
I know, Bethany, that was literally last night, okay? God, for those of you that don't know, I know you're watching this at 9, we record at like the ridiculous hour of like 11 a.m. It's so insane to be up and have makeup on and pants. I'm just kidding. I'm not wearing pants. But how are you preparing for, or how, the onslaught? I mean, I personally, just like instinct, knee jerk, I think you're going to have a huge wave of last minute. And if you're already seeing these kind of issues, what are you guys talking about, to manage that?
Yeah, so I mean, the first thing was that the elections division recruited some other county employees from like Department of Court Records to come over and assist with their process. Because remember, mail-in ballot, this is the first election in Pennsylvania that you are allowed to no excuse vote by mail. So we were prepared to have about like 20 to 25,000 mail-in ballot applications, because people just, it's more convenient. People who can't miss work, certain things like that. And so instead of 20 to 25,000, we have 225,000 because of COVID-19. So I think that that's where the biggest problem is that we weren't prepared for this. I mean, nobody was prepared for COVID-19. We couldn't have been prepared for this. So I know that's something that the elections division manager had discussed yesterday, was possibly outsourcing mailing, like actually partnering up with a mailing company to process that, because right now we're 80,000 ballots backlogged when it comes to getting those mailed out. So 80,000, and we still have a week left. So
and you're only going to get more.
We're only going to get more. It's not, the number's not going down. It's just going up.
No, could you maybe shed a little light for our viewers or listeners? What when the mail-in ballot comes in, where does it go from there? Like, kind of walk us through the process of how it gets logged as a vote.
Yeah, I'm so glad. I actually think it's important to start with like from the beginning with the application.
Yeah, walk us through.
Yeah, okay. So don't forget, you have until May 26th, which is next Tuesday, to request your mail-in ballot in Pennsylvania, okay? So the process is you can either go online to votespa.com and request your mail-in ballot. That's what I did. And it's super easy. You literally put in your name, birth date, and your driver's license or photo ID number. And then I did it yesterday, and I already got an email today saying that mine had been processed. So the process is you apply via that or via a paper application, which you then send to the county elections division. So what happens is they receive your application. First, they process it. That basically just means, hey, we got it. Okay. The next step is that your application is verified. And that's where they check your identifying information, such as your social security number or your photo ID, and match it up to your voter registration. Okay. So verifying is the next process. Then your ballot gets listed as mailed. And so this is where a lot of the confusion comes up, because people are going online. You can go, you can literally just Google track my ballot. Okay. And you can see if it was verified, if it was processed, verified, or mailed. The problem is that it's the state's website that's updating the status, and it's the county that's actually processing the ballot. So the state system says that your ballot was mailed, when really all that means is that your label, your mailing label at the county was printed. There are still steps after that. So after your mailing label is printed out and the state system updates that says your ballot is mailed, it still has to be, that label has to be affixed to an envelope. That envelope has to be stuffed with your unique ballot for the district you live in and the party that you're registered as. An instruction sheet has to be put in there. Then it has to be sealed up. Then it has to go out to the mail room in the county building. And then it goes out in the mail to you. So I've been telling, that's mostly the questions I've been getting from folks. My ballot was mailed on May 2nd. Where is it? Don't worry, it is on its way. You know, some people I'm like, hey, it's coming, and then they get it the next day. So that's
in typical bureaucratic fashion, having somebody tell you your ballot was mailed does not actually mean ballot was mailed. So don't get it twisted, folks. Come on.
Exactly.
Alternative facts. Because I've seen some people say like they've gotten multiples at their home, right? So is the back-end process protecting the integrity of one person, one vote?
Yeah, it actually is. So the great thing about it is that each voter actually has a unique voter ID and a barcode that's associated with them. So that's how the state system is updated. They scan the barcode and they say that this label was mailed, right? And so if you were to potentially try to turn in multiple ballots because you received multiple ballots, only the first one you send in will be counted, because if they go to scan a second one, it's going to say vote has already recorded on this one. So really it was just a printing issue where the printer was timing out, and so it's figured out now. They're just printing in smaller batches, so we shouldn't see it as much as we have been before.
All right, so don't panic, people. I mean I understand people's like anxiety around the process, just because this is new, right? I mean, and we did not have a whole long runway to get comfortable with this. I mean, this was very, sprung up quickly. So so cool. Well, yeah, so you heard the lady, you got 6 days left to request your mail-in ballot. So get her done. Yeah, 6 days. And, to all the workers processing them, good luck when that final last wave comes in, because it's going to be a decent.
I mean, I can't imagine working in the elections division right now.
Yeah, big thanks to all of them. Yeah,
they're working, 3 shifts, round the clock. It's really nonstop there just to make sure that everybody's votes count. So I really want to shout out them, everybody in the elections division, everybody that the elections division has recruited to help out. I mean, thank you all for making sure that we can vote from the safety of our beds.
Yep, that's right. Your beds or table or where. I mean, you don't have to be in bed to vote. Like, you could be somewhere else in your house. So, by the way, Bethany, do you like my mug?
I actually do, and I think I know where you got that. Is it a store that sells all porcelain yellow?
This is Pittsburgh pottery, and here's how Pittsburgh this is. I bought this at Picklesburg. They were set up Pittsburgh pottery at Picklesburg. And this is my favorite mug. I love it so much. It's just like the perfect heft. I just love it.
Yeah, I wonder if that's the place. There's some place that's on like the main street in Carnegie that is.
I don't know. Yeah, I don't, because I wasn't at their storefront, so I'm not sure. Google them.
Store of stuff like that. You should check it out.
Yeah, I will. I'm gonna get more. If anybody wants to buy me presents, I accept mugs. So again, by the way, I was like, they're not a sponsor, but you know who is a sponsor? Sarah Summer Oliphant, who is running for the 39th Legislative District. Thank you again, Sarah. Hope you're having a great day. Hope you're enjoying coming into the yellow phase. Hopefully get you out knocking on some doors soon. So staying on the county, let's switch, because we only have 30, it's a 30-minute show, people. Which we should know better. We should definitely do 45 minutes. I don't know what I was thinking. So the city of Pittsburgh on March 15th implemented paid sick days, which I think now more than ever with everything going on are really needed. So what's up with the county?
Well, I'm so glad you asked.
I just feel like they're a little behind the times in this, but tell me.
They are. So it's important to remember, I think a lot of people don't really realize that if you remember the day, March 15th, when the city's paid sick leave was implemented, that just coincidentally was at the perfect time, because we were in the pandemic was starting, the shutdown orders were about to be in place. But they actually passed that legislation in city council years ago. And it went through, everybody told them that they couldn't do it. It went through legal challenges. It went all the way up to like the Supreme Court in Pennsylvania. And the court says, yes, city council is allowed to implement paid sick days for all businesses in the city of Pittsburgh. So I realized, hey, we have this in the city of Pittsburgh, and they've already went through the legal battle. They've set the precedent that we are legally allowed to do this. So let's implement it at the county level. And especially now more than ever, we're highlighting all of these lack of social safety nets in our society. And that is one of them. So many people who are not able to stay home from work when they're sick because they need the money and they don't have paid sick days.
Yeah, and we're finding out too, like, who the true essential workers are, right? Yeah. So, and these are the people that typically don't have paid sick leave and need it the most, because clearly we have now deemed them essential. So we need them healthy and we need them working. So go on.
Those folks don't have paid sick days. They're often underpaid. They don't have a living wage. And there's a lot of things that contribute to the fact that, oh, now you're essential workers and we're going to do flyovers for you, but we're not going to provide you with any paid sick leave, right? So I think that it's so important now more than ever, the timeliness of this all. And so the legislation went to committee, which is where, we make any amendments. I know there's some things that I want to add to the legislation. We've had a lot of discussion around paid safe days, which is actually very similar to paid sick leave, but it's for victims of domestic violence to be able to, handle all of that after an incident, and to just have the security of being able to take off work and not having to worry how you're going to pay your bills if you're going to lose your job. So I'm hoping that eventually this legislation, before it comes up for a vote, morphs into a paid sick leave and paid safe days. So I'm really looking forward to some work around that. I just heard this morning that a Health and Human Services Committee meeting was scheduled for next week. So the discussion is starting. We're going to make sure we bring in all, the stakeholders. I know that's like the word everybody wants to use. We're going to bring
stakeholders. Are you guys going to have synergy? You can circle back. Go ahead.
So we're going to bring in all the stakeholders who really are the experts in these fields, and that's some unions, organizations that their entire work is just around building community. We're going to bring in some people who focus on the domestic violence aspect of this all. And so just making sure that everyone is coming to the table and we're all working on it together. And it's not just members of county council who may have no experience in this whatsoever, but instead it's actually the experts who are coming and telling us, this is where we're lacking, this is what's needed, this is how we can improve on the city's legislation. Because the legislation that we introduced at the county level almost exactly mirrors the city, because of businesses that do work in the city and then outside the city and the rest of the county. We wanted to make it kind of universal. But now we're thinking if we can make ours a little better, maybe it'll pressure the city to up theirs as well.
Yeah, up their game a bit. What kind of feedback are you getting from the businesses that would be implementing this? I mean, are they because just anecdotally, you hear pushback on like a living wage. Oh, I can't afford that. Da da da. So, what kind of anecdotes or feedback are you getting from the local business community?
That's what I'm expecting to come with the committee meeting, because so far it was just introduced. Only people who have reached out to me were people in support of it. I foresee the closer we get to the actual vote for the paid sick leave legislation, we'll get some input from some business owners. There are some small business owners on county council and people who support this legislation anyway. So I think that's a kind of a great barometer of where we're the rest of the business community. And again, we want this to be about the workers and the businesses, because we need the businesses to exist for the sake of people being employed there.
Exactly. Yeah, like your goal here is not to put businesses out of business, right. And I think they know that.
Exactly. So I'm hoping that everybody comes to the table and we can, find a ground where everyone can agree on and get this implemented as soon as possible. Because remember, you don't just get those paid sick days and paid safe days as soon as this legislation is implemented. There's an accrual period where you have to work so many hours, so many days to gain so many hours of this paid sick leave and paid safe days. So we need to get this on the books. I'm ready. And next week it starts. So.
All right. Well, we'll check in next week and see how that Health and Human Services meeting goes.
Yes.
So I don't have a good segue for this, but I will throw this back to Charlie for a second. When Charlie's not interviewing 90s pop icons for the paper, he's breaking some pretty chewy stories. I'm referring, of course, to his article, his piece yesterday about Summerlee and the mailers. Dun, 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 dun. Y'all get ready because we're about to spill some tea.
Yeah, there's lots of tea that needs to be spilled about this, Bethany. Go ahead.
Yeah. So just encapsulating, if people are listening haven't read it, her opponent, Chris Rowland, who by the way is endorsed by Rich Fitzgerald in Allegheny County, over the incumbent Summerlee, who, if you don't know, is an African American woman who is hugely popular.
And a straight up badass fighter for the people too.
She is. She's amazing and an inspiration. And the fact that she would have to deal with this is bullshit. Yeah. But basically, they're trying to they're distorting her record and basically sent out this mailer insinuating that she supported pedophiles. I mean, it's disgusting. It's just absolute the worst kind of politics ever. And it went out, and of course, this is how her opponent works. But the real tea spill in here is, who's his campaign manager? Do you want to talk about that for a hot sec?
Yes, would love to, because really, I was a lot of, as soon as the Current puts out a story, everybody's on the text, and we're all talking about the tea, anything that you write about, right? So
including Brett Michaels, was that a group text?
No, he's too busy trying to do a remake of Rock of Love. So, Anyway, so we're all talking about it, and I don't actually think Charlie realized at the time that a lot of the real tea in that story was who was running Chris Rowland's campaign.
Yeah, he said Summer didn't even know until
no,
all this.
None of us knew. We were all texting about it after it happened. None of us knew. So, there was a quote in the story. So again, the backstory, like Bethany said, there's been some really nasty, just straight up lies that Chris Rowland is putting out in negative mailers against Summerlee. And so everybody was just kind of like, okay, I guess this is, what we expect from the establishment. I mean, we know who's backing her opponent. And so it was kind of just like, this is really nasty and this is gross and this isn't like 1950. This isn't how we should be doing politics. Talk about yourself and what you're going to do for your community, because I can spend this whole half hour every single week talking about what Summer's done for her community, And so, there's been a lot of discussion about that. But then in Charlie's story, there's a quote from Chris Rowland's campaign manager, and it's Darnica. Right. And everybody's like, we're all very familiar with her because she's worked on some other campaigns in the past. But this is really a new low for her, because she was actually a member of Pittsburgh Tsa, which is now fractured. I don't know if anybody's familiar with.
Maybe can you explain? Yeah, maybe just draw out the what is the Pittsburgh Tsa for people that might not know?
Yeah, TSA is the Democratic Socialists of America. It's an activist organization trying to branch into electoral politics. And anyways, it's just a group that in Pittsburgh doesn't really exist anymore because of the fact of the fracturing that went on within the group. And Darnica played a big role in that. And so to see the name, and remember, she is a Black woman who has run for office, who the backstory is that she felt that Summer's seat was actually her seat. Okay, so that's how a lot of this beef started. When Summer ran for office 2 years ago, Darnica said, that's my seat. How dare you run for that? Meanwhile, if you want a seat, get off your ass and run for it yourself, because Summer did and Summer won, right? So if you have a problem with someone, challenge them. Everybody's welcome to do that. We're not keeping anybody off the ballot, So what happened was, back when Summer was first running 2 years ago, Darnica spread this rumor that Summer wasn't a lawyer and she had committed election fraud, voter fraud, like all this, just very able to prove otherwise. Okay. And so it all went back to this personal beef that you stole my seat. I didn't see your name on the ballot, so how was the seat stolen from you? So it's just kind of disappointing, especially to members of the so-called progressive community, where so it's one thing that we don't all agree on everything with each other, but now somebody from our community is actually responsible.
Crossed enemy lines.
Cross enemy lines. I mean, this is the line that literally is enemy territory. There could be so many other, incumbent campaigns or non-progressive challenger campaigns that you could work on, and it wouldn't really sting the same as if you were running the campaign as especially a so-called progressive Black woman against the first Black female state representative from Western Pennsylvania. We have a warrior in Harrisburg fighting for us in the 34th district, and here you are basically betraying all of your allies, all of your previous allies who are in support of Summer and working for the enemy. I mean, and that was what was so great, is that Charlie had no idea that that's what he was writing about.
Yeah, well, because after we talked last night, because we do a little pre-chat, so we figure out what we're going to talk about loosely. And I texted Charlie. I was like, "Did you even know that?" He's like, "I didn't realize it until I found out Summer didn't even know." So, but there's a reason nobody knew, because they were trying to keep that on the down low. The shade.
Exactly. Because she knew what it would mean. I mean, this is the end of your political career. If you're just gonna turn around and you're gonna go work for any of these nasty establishment folks, like that's you're going against everything that you say you stand for. If you're ever going to run for office again, what are you going to run on? Because you used to run on this progressive platform last time. She ran as an independent for office. Was it last year or the year before? And now you've turned your back on everything that you've said you stood for. And
we're in the last minute. But I'm glad that we had enough time to talk about that, because I actually should have pushed that further out.
Making me sweat a little bit. I'm getting worked up.
I know, seriously, like you're gonna like walk it off when we're done with this, Bethany.
I'm not gonna throw off, Bethany. No.
I was hoping that we could talk about sports. So if y'all don't know, Bethany and I are both huge Pittsburgh sports fans, like baseball, football. Like we were
travel across the country to see sports.
Yeah, we travel all over. So, but maybe next time, or maybe we'll just do a sports show. Jake, would you like to do another show with us? Jake's like. So, all right, so that's it. I was going to give you a minute for a last word, but I feel like you had it. That was great on your Darnatha Reed rant. I really appreciate that. I'm sure the progressives of Pittsburgh appreciate it too.
Well, somebody needs to call her out. You know, I mean, it's time. We're not.
I think you just did. It was you. Yeah. Oh, look, my timer's gone off. I see. I try to keep time. We're so official here. How do stop it? Stop! I can't turn it off.
Bethany.
Okay, got it. One last time, I want to thank Sarah Summer Oliphant, running for the 39th Legislative District. Thank you for being our sponsor this week. Thank you for letting us continue to do what we do. Bethany, it was great seeing you. We'll do this again next week. What do you think?
Can't wait.
All right. Jake's going to write us a theme song. He told me. And now it's on.
I thought you have it. Sing it for us on the way out.
No, this is my current condition.
Between two Bethanys.
Next time, between two Bethanys. All right, everybody. Till next Wednesday. Stay safe. Stay healthy. Don't get hit by falling PPEs.
And don't go to the barber shop.
Don't. But listen to Poison.